Happy New Year! We are mixing things up by bringing the weekly message to you via video. This school year, the counselors, the APs, Jackie and I started huddling each morning to get a campus-wide update across our 3-story building. Well, to spin off of our 5-minute huddle meetings, we thought that a face-to-face meeting time with you would be best since we will welcome students and staff back on the same day. Family is important to me. I'm spending the break with my parents and children. The children are getting older, but in my mind, I'm getting younger. Although I'm my parents' only child, over the years, I've gained sisters and brothers, my neighbors for over 15 years, a couple of former co-workers, and one of my dearest sisters who happens to be an only child too. Many of my acquired siblings are educators, so we take advantage of our time off by getting our families together, catching up on memories, and enjoying each other's company, and let's not forget eating great food too. Before my break ends, the children and I will keep with our tradition of spending some quality time with a 90-year-old family friend. She came into our family around the time my oldest was born, and she even took care of him when I returned back to work from maternity leave. So why do I tell you this? Because I wish you a great time with family and friends during your break. Last year, we polled our staff to seek their input on having 1 or 2 CTE days. Overwhelmingly, the staff voted to have 2 CTE days, 1 in October and 1 January 4th. You may spend January 4th extending your quality family time or rejuvenating yourself for the return to a busy spring. Next year's school calendar is published, so we need your input. Be sure to check out Jackie's message and survey in this week's newsletter. This year, we exchanged our off-contract professional development time for January 4th. We opted to engage in learning during the summer and fall so that we could learn as much as we can up front and use our learning to benefit our students now. We had the summer combined professional development with 2 other middle schools, and we empowered our staff to engage in DGT training, quantum learning, classroom management training, a book study on instructional strategies, and an independent study on planning and instruction, the classroom environment, and professional practices. Our vision is to provide our students and our staff with empowering learning activities. The portrait of a Sci-Fair teacher charges us to be lifelong learners, and we continue to meet and exceed the 25-75 professional development expectation to experience personal and professional growth. Being a learning community is valued at Anthony. There are some trainings that we must all take, but we are intentional in giving more options and choices, like during the Campus Professional Development Week and the monthly bite-sized PDs. As was mentioned in our December mid-year reflection messages, we engage in professional trainings that build our capacities as educators to benefit our students' learning. In closing, this is our huddle time. All hands in as we kickstart the spring semester. We have several practices in place to keep us in tune with how our students are progressing throughout the year. Students receive progress report and report card grades. We have the Raven Data Bulletin Board that is maintained by our CCISs with current goals and DPM data for our core contents. Certification tests for our career and technology courses, and enrollment and student performance data for our performing and visual arts courses. Regardless of your role on campus, we own all students and their learning in all classes. Last, we have the Campus Improvement Plan. that was reviewed by the Board of Trustees and published on our school's website for the parents and the community to be aware of our goals, strategies, and progress regarding safety, student achievement, student discipline, and campus culture. We spent December reflecting on our individual diverse goals and determined the changes needed by each of us to stay on the pathway to achieve our vision. If you haven't looked at the Anthony stakeholders' commitments in the last month, please take a moment to read the commitment of actions. We've included another copy in the newsletter email. The document exists to guide our mindsets, our behaviors, and the accountability of each group. In sports, a team is comprised of special teams, coaches, offense, defense, trainers. In the medical industry, a team comes around a patient that includes the pharmacist, x-ray technicians, office staff, nurses, and doctors. Well, at Anthony, we have students, the teachers, instructional support staff, parents, and the community that makes up our team. The focus for this spring is that our student-centered environment will evolve to take instruction to the next level. That's soaring heights. As our teams reflected over the continuous improvement cycle, we determined the need to increase the instructional rigor. The instructional leadership team has created a framework to guide the increase of instruction across over 80 classrooms in over all disciplines. We will be intentional in increasing the amount of higher order thinking activities and questions in instruction, and the instructional support staff will join alongside of you to help with full implementation. Our teams will continue to create an environment where students feel comfortable in taking risks. The teams will tailor relevant learning activities to all students by taking the students' current knowledge and expanding their understanding to mastery, specific to each student. For the students who reach mastery at a faster pace, we will extend the content at an even greater depth. Half of the school year has already passed, so let us join together to maximize the 5 months we have remaining. To expand every student's potential, our focus on learning is to have classroom instruction that includes more higher order thinking activities and questions. Leveling up our instruction will foster the problem solver attribute as outlined in the Sci-Fair portrait of a Sci-Fair graduate. A summary of the quality is that at Sci-Fair, we develop students' understanding so that they are able to identify problems, organize, analyze, interpret, evaluate, predict, and make decisions to resolve problems before entering the real world. This is where we come in. Together, with the partnership of the Anthony family, parents, and the community, our Ravens will continue to experience incremental maximum achievement growth. The instructional staff will continue to use formative and summative data to plan differentiated lessons. During team planning, conversations will continue to be about what do we want our students to learn? Asking our teammates, can you look at some of my students' samples for feedback? Also, conversations will take place about how will we know that our students are learning, or how will we respond when our students are not learning, and how will we enrich and extend learning for those students who reach proficiency at a faster pace. The premise of our team planning meetings is that we expect instruction to be different for each class period, just as we outlined. We front load the idea that there's a high probability the learners in our second period class have different strengths and different needs than the learners in our 7th period class. Our action steps in team planning and instructional facilitation demonstrates that we embrace our teammates' diverse experiences and ideas, and we use our students' diverse educational experiences and learning styles to provide meaningful instruction. Given that we want all of our students to demonstrate at least 1 year's growth in this school year, we will be sure that our instruction and planning is scaffolded beyond the comprehension level to include more higher order thinking activities and questions. That's it. Remember, together Ravens lead. We learn, empower, achieve, and dream to soaring heights. Have a great break.